Welcome to Around the ECHL. We do it every Tuesday and joined by one of the voices or key members of one of the opposing teams. This week is Utah, and my buddy Tyson Whiting is here. Where are you, at home?
I'm at home, just enjoying home. Actually watching an old football game. I'm watching 2003 Cowboys-Giants, week 2 from Giant Stadium, a Monday night football game. I think the Cowboys ended up winning in overtime.
Wow, is that like on NFL Network?
No, it's not a DVD I got a couple years ago. It's one of those where it's just I enjoy watching old games, and I just happened to get a little bit of a kick of watching early 2000s NFL games.
No, I was going to say, what do you get tired of looking at the mountains? Now you got to pull out games from like 1995.
Well, I figure now the snow has left the mountains right now, so it's the mountains don't look nearly as good without the snow on it.
Hey, let's talk about your Utah Grizzlies. There for a while, it looked like Rapid City was kind of moving and getting comfortable there in that number 4 spot. But, man, you guys have really rolled off a great streak. 7 wins in a row. Talk about that.
That's the longest. Last time Grizzly had a 7-game winning streak was 4 years ago. And it's been a combination of a lot of things. It's been great goaltending. Parker Gahagan was named goaltender of the week for back-to-back weeks, 2 consecutive weeks. It's actually the first time that one Grizzlies goaltender has won back-to-back goaltender of the week since they joined the league in the 2005-06 season. The other 2 times, oddly enough, it was 2 different goaltenders getting a goaltender of the weeks for the Grizzlies. And so Gahagan's been outstanding over the last couple weeks and getting great performances from AJ White and Trey Bradley. White, the Idaho Steelheads captain the last couple of years, he's just been outstanding. And Bradley and White have just found this chemistry, and they've just been amazing together. And Trey Bradley's been just about as good as White. They've been a point a game, or maybe a little bit better than a point a game over the last couple of weeks. And Hayden Hodgson's really stepped it up offensively. And, you put that along with good goaltending, and the defensive effort's been really good. I mean, it's all just kind of come together for the Grizzlies over the last couple of weeks, and been able to win some close games. And before you know it, 2 weeks ago, we were kind of looking at, hey, we had to do something against Rapid City, or else it'd be pretty tough mathematically to make the playoffs. Now the Grizzlies look like they're in the driver's seat for 4th place, and the old cliche, the Grizzlies probably right now control their own destiny in terms of getting a playoff spot. They don't really have to worry about Rapid City as much as just take care of their own business over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, right now, 71 points for you guys, 64 for them. Looks like the only team, if they got hot, might have a chance to grab that number 4 spot. But you mentioned some of the guys that are hot. Hayden Hodgson is one right there. He's got goals in consecutive games. He's got a 5-game point streak, and he's got 4 goals in 5 games and points in 6 of his last 7. So I know he's always been a thorn in our side. A physical player, likes to mix it up a little bit. He's one of those guys that could be a key in the playoffs.
And he's somebody that just makes an impact on the game, whether it's scoring goals as he's done over the last couple of weeks, 4 goals in his last 5 games, making nice passes, making good decisions with the puck, or just being a physical presence out there. Some guys, they'll play 2 or 3 games and you think about it and go, I didn't really notice him out there. With Hodgson, in the 19 or 20 games he's played with the Grizzlies, it seems like every time he's out there, you notice him. He's a presence, and he always does something to help the team win. And him along with Cole Frazier have really brought some size and a little bit of a physical presence to the Grizzlies. At the start of the season, it was probably one of the smaller teams in the league. And over the last couple months with some of the roster moves, those 2, along with a defenseman named Wyatt McLeod, who came over a couple weeks ago, the Grizzlies have added some size that can certainly match up against teams like Wichita and Allen that are, some of the bigger teams in the league.
Tyson Whiting, the voice of the Utah Grizzlies, joining us here on Around the ECHL. We will see them coming up Wednesday night for the first game long weekend series. You talked about winning those 4 in a row against Rapid City. That is hard to do. I know we had a stretch a few weeks ago where we swept the week, beat Tulsa on a Tuesday, and then beat Wichita 3 straight in the weekend. That's tough to do, especially against a great rival like that. What was the difference in that series for you guys?
It seemed like the difference in a couple of the games was good goaltending. I mean, the first game of the series, it was an historic shorthanded goal barrage. The Grizzlies had 4 shorthanded goals, and Travis Barron himself had 3 of them. And then the second game of the series was great goaltending. Utah won a low scoring game 2-0. Third game, Grizzlies got off to a fast start, scored 5 goals in the first period. And then the last game, we had 3 fights in the first 12 minutes, and Rapid City took a 2-0 lead. And the Grizzlies got a 5-on-3, scored on the 5-on-3, and then scored 29 seconds later on a 5-on-4, tied up the game. And then Hodgson scored with less than 2 minutes left in regulation. So the interesting thing is all 4 games were different style games. And I think that's one of the things for the Grizzlies that's been impressive about this 7-game winning streak is that they've won in different varieties. They won a higher scoring game. They won lower scoring contests. When the game got ultra physical, the Grizzlies were able to stand up to that as well. And I think come playoff time, that's going to be something that could translate. And I think that's why Grizzlies fans have a little bit of optimism right now, is that the Grizzlies have been able to win in different styles. It doesn't have to just be a high scoring game. They seems like the Grizzlies can find a way to slug out a 2-1 victory here and there. And so that's been the impressive thing about it. And Rapid City, they gave a really good effort that week, but the Grizzlies, especially those last 2 games of the series, were just able to buckle down and find a way to get it done.
If you had to put money in Vegas right now on who the Utah Grizzlies would be playing in round 1 of the playoffs, who would it be?
I'd probably say Wichita. I'd probably say the Thunder. They've been consistent all year long.
Yeah,
and
they have.
Hats off to Bruce Ramsey. He probably is getting my vote for coach of the year in the league. He's just done an outstanding job, and he's had great goaltending all year long. And it just seems like they've developed something there that's been able to last. They got off to that fast start, and you kind of thought, okay, at some point maybe they'll start to fade back to the pack, and they really haven't. And, so it'll be interesting. Grizzlies play Fort Wayne the last weekend of the regular season. So it's possible that the Grizzlies, could end up facing, if Fort Wayne has a good weekend against Utah, it could be that Utah ends up playing Fort Wayne in the first round. But I probably think that the Grizzlies would end up taking Wichita in that first round matchup, but it's probably going to come down to the final weekend.
Yeah. Well, I wish I was going to be there. I always love going to West Valley City. Great time, unbelievable, venue, great places to go see, if you do a little sightseeing in that area. And, hopefully next year, everything will be back to normal and be able to, make that trip. I was lucky enough to do one on my own this year, and miss having you here, Tyson, but, we'll mud on through this and we'll see what the playoffs bring.
Yeah, the weather's getting a little bit warmer, so but it will be a fun weekend of hockey, and certainly miss you on the other side of that table over there in section 114. It's been a little bit empty this year.
I know, I do too. Well, hey, best of luck to you guys the rest of the way. Thanks for doing this as always. Always great to see you, my friend. And thanks, Tyson, for joining us around the ECHL.
Thanks for the time, Tommy.
Here he is, Tyson Whiting.